Hello and welcome to the OVERDRIVE channel. I'm Christopher Chaves and I'm out here at the TVS test track at the company's plant in Osur to ride this, the all-new Jupiter 125. Now with the scooter, TVS have not simply just thrown in the NTORQ engine into the existing 110cc Jupiter's chassis and body. Now this is an all-new scooter, alright? It has a new design altogether, a new engine, a new chassis, and basically it's targeted at the commuter space, the 125cc commuter space. And the main USPs of the scooter are obviously its frugal engine and the large seat and under seat storage space. I'm here to tell you what riding it is all about. So let's get to it then. The Jupiter 125 sports an all-new design with new metal body panels. It looks very sober, sleek and modern from the front with that nicely shaped headlamp unit and the DRLs on the front apron, and the side panels show off some strong lines that flow seamlessly to its well-rounded up rear section with a large grab rail that sits atop the part LED tail lamp unit. There are even some nice chrome finish bits that lend the scooter a bit of an upmarket look. Now, TVS has paid a lot of attention to the aero design of the Jupiter 125. It's tried to optimize the airflow from the front end as well as the sides to cool the engine and keep it from heating the seat over long distance rides. Another unique bit about this 125cc TVS is the location of its fuel tank, which has now moved to under the footboard, while the fuel filler cap is located on the front of the scooter for some added convenience. Now, the only downside to this tank's relocation is that its capacity is now down to 5 liters from the older 110cc Jupiter's 6 liter tank. In addition to locking the steering, rotating the key in the ignition slot also provides access to the underseat storage area and also pops open the fuel filler lid. The Jupiter 125 also boasts the longest seat in its class, and the relocation of the tank has also meant that this scooter gets a massive 32 liters of underseat storage space, which is more than enough room to store not one but two full-size half-face helmets. The new TVS also gets a USB charging port and a small 2-liter storage pocket under the right-hand side of the handlebar. Another big plus point of the scooter is the fact that it comes with plenty of legroom too. The dashboard of the Jupiter 125 comprises an analog speedometer on the left-hand side and a small digital screen on the right that displays information like the odometer and trip readings, time, level of fuel, as well as the usual warning and indication lights. The TVS scooter also gets some safety kit in the form of a side stand engine inhibitor, which basically kills your engine if you try to set off with your side stand down. The scooter also features start-stop technology, which should save you from burning fuel unnecessarily when you come to a halt. Now, as I mentioned before, the engine of the Jupiter 125 is all new. Unlike TVS's NTORQ range of scooters, which all emphasize on the aspects of performance and functionality, TVS has designed the new Jupiter 125 to focus on the aspects of frugality and convenience. And in keeping to this tune, the company has paid a lot of attention to make the new 124.8cc engine run as economical as possible, while also keeping NVH levels down to a minimum. The new air-cooled 2-valve motor employs a lot of lightweight components and features some modern low-friction tech as well. The single-pot motor produces a max power of 8.3 PS and a max torque of 10.5 Nm, which is pretty much on par with this TVS scooter's 125cc rivals in the form of the Honda Activa and the Suzuki Access. Now, we haven't been able to test the new scooter for fuel efficiency, so we'll have to wait till we get our hands on the scooter again out in the real world to comment on this particular aspect. Off the line, the new Jupiter definitely doesn't feel like the quickest of the 125cc lot, but it's no real slouch either. What's commendable though is the way this engine delivers its power. Power delivery from 20 to 80 km per hour is smooth, linear and seamless with NVH levels on the down low. North of 80 km per hour though, this engine just seems to run out of steam and the speedo needle pretty much refused to even touch or go near the 90 km per hour indication. But seeing as the scooter is basically designed to be the more frugal and comfortable of sorts more than anything, it doesn't really feel to be lacking any performance really. Because, to be honest, bigger numbers on the speedo are ideally not what you should be looking for on a commuter scooter like the Jupiter 125. Like its engine, the chassis of the Jupiter 125 is all new too. TVS claimed that the new platform has not only been optimized to provide the obvious structural rigidity, but to also optimize the scooter's agility and handling. The Jupiter 125 gets a telescopic fork up front, which allows 77 mm of travel, while a 3-step adjustable canister charged monoshock manages the rear. Stopping power comes in the form of a 220 mm disc up front, which works in tandem with a 130 mm drum at the rear when the right lever is employed. Now, as soon as I got astride the Jupiter 125, I really liked the fact that the long contoured seat gave me ample room to find the perfect riding position, which was great. A quick glance behind, and there was more than sufficient room for the pillion rider to do the same as well. And as soon as I set off, I noticed how light and agile the Jupiter 125 felt on the go. Now, the scooter isn't lacking outright performance. It will get you up and sustain a decent speed of around 80 kmph without a fuss. And when tested, I found the brakes and tire setup to work brilliantly in bringing the scooter to a halt on command. I found the suspension setup of the Jupiter 125 to be spot on, even when ridden a bit enthusiastically. And the best part is that the 3-step monoshock at the rear can be adjusted by hand without using any tools. So once you have it set to your riding weight and style, the chassis and suspension weigh up nicely by ironing out all the small sharp bumps, which should help tremendously for when you're caught off guard on the road. Yes, the Jupiter 125 is a commuter scooter, but I like the fact how easy it is to flick around at low speeds, and better still, this scooter isn't afraid of being thrown into a long sweeping corner at speed. Now, we are yet to see how the Jupiter 125 fares out on the street, where conditions are a lot more drastic than out here on the test track. But on first impressions alone, it would seem like TVS definitely has a winner on its hands with this Jupiter 125. Now, it should also be mentioned that the Jupiter 125 won't be replacing the smaller 110cc Jupiter. Rather, both will coexist with their unique strong points. And although it's a bit odd that TVS has opted not to include Bluetooth connectivity on the Jupiter 125 as it did with the smaller cc Jupiter, this scooter still comes with a decent list of features and makes a strong case for itself in its segment in terms of its attractive looks, convenience, and downright functionality.